We gather from many directions, identities, and stages of life to center ourselves here in this sacred SUUSI space of worship. As we enter into this time of intention and meaning making, we invite all y'all gathered to put your phones and yourselves in worship mode and prepare to be present to this time together.
Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open for the possibility.
Please join us, either part.
Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility.
Chalice Lighting for Challenging Times by Lisa Doge. Why a flaming chalice? The question comes. It's the cup of life, we answer. A cup of blessings overflowing. A cup of water to quench our spirit's thirst. A cup of wine for celebration and dedication. The flame of truth. The fire of purification, oil for anointing, healing. Out of chaos, fear, and horror, thus was the symbol crafted a generation ago. So may it be for us in these days of uncertainty, sorrow, and rage, and a light to warm our souls and guide us home.
Well, I learned as a child there's two ways to see the world as it is and the way it could be. Some people say that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. Now they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. And here comes the chorus. Some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Now sing it with us. Some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Now I've seen the toll taken, the tears that were shed, seen the journey started and the ripples spread. Still people say, well, that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. No, they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon and they do what must be done. Now all together. Some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. One last time, some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. They see the way on that long road to freedom, and they do what must be done.
One day, Taylor decided to build something new.
Something special.
Something amazing. Taylor was so proud.
But then, out of nowhere,
No. Things came crashing down. The chicken was the first to notice.
What a shame. What a shame. Let's talk about it. Bark, 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 bark.
but Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left.
Next came the bear.
Arr! I bet you feel so angry. Are you angry?
But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left.
The elephant knew just what to do.
I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things used to be.
But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left.
One by one, they came.
The hyena
Just laugh about it.
the ostrich,
We should hide and pretend that nothing happened.
oh,
The kangaroo,
Tisk, tisk, what a mess. We should throw it all away.
and the snake.
Let's go knock down someone else's.
but Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody. So eventually they all left until Taylor was alone.
It can be devastating when what we've worked so hard to build is destroyed. But sometimes what's worse is the feeling of isolation in the midst of the destruction. We have all found ourselves in this strange space, in the midst of some kind of loss or change, surrounded by so many first responders and well-wishers, all seeking to help distract us from our confusion and struggle. But none of their words seem to be able to penetrate our shock. Sometimes we just need to sit with things to sort them out. Sometimes we just need companions who will sit with us in our grief.
In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit.
But it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body.
Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said,
Please stay with me.
The rabbit listened.
The rabbit listened while Taylor talked.
The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted.
The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered.
And laughed.
The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide.
The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to throw everything away.
The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to ruin things for someone else.
Through it all, the rabbit never left.
And the rabbit listened.
I'm sorry, I've got to interrupt. Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
Y'all, I love these animals. Aren't they great? I gotta pause this story. I know we're supposed to be in this quiet rabbit listening mode. And of course the rabbit is going to be the hero. But how many of us identify with those other animals and they're not quite right responses?
Okay, so how about we get all the animals back on stage? Come on out.
I have totally been the chicken, filling the uncomfortable silence with just the sound of my voice because I'm so afraid of, the silence and not knowing the right thing to say, as if such a thing exists.
I mean, so often we come to our beloveds who are in pain and fill the space with our own pain and think that's somehow comforting. And it's just not.
Have you ever been the bear?
I've definitely been the bear. And I think it's important to say that we shouldn't discount our outrage and expressions of anger, because there's a whole heck of a lot to be outraged about right now.
That's an understatement.
And, sometimes we can glom our own anger onto someone else's pain instead of finding out what the person in pain actually needs and really feels.
And when we do respond with anger to someone else's harm, well, this can totally lead to fear-mongering, scapegoating.
All the bad stuff that definitely doesn't make anything better.
Like the snake.
And sometimes, like the ostrich, people want to hide from the pain. Or, like the kangaroo, mask the pain and hide it from others.
Or be a hyena and deal with their discomfort by making jokes about it.
And then there's that elephant.
Nostalgia!
And not just, let's remember how it was exactly so we can recreate it exactly.
Which is troublesome enough.
But that push towards nostalgia is where we get Make America Great Again. It whitewashes
Literally
the past in this magical glow that's never based in reality.
That's true. But it's not just something those people do. Remember the 7 deadly words of the church? But we've always done it this way. It's so easy to just hold on to the way it used to be, especially if that's what it was like when we first found the thing we love, like when we first came to SUUSI.
Or holding on to the ways we learned about racism or diversity or sexuality or identity when we were young. Forgetting that we have learned so much since then and need to keep growing.
Oh yeah, it's hard to remember that even clinging to nostalgia is a common response to discomfort and fear created by crisis or trauma or change. I think it's easy for us to forget that and to be sympathetic to that too.
There are so many reactions and so many stages that we go through.
Change sure is messy, isn't it?
Definitely.
Word.
But you know, I love how the rabbit listens, staying close, observing, paying attention, not just immediately thrusting their feelings, ideas, opinions onto Taylor in the midst of their grief at the brokenness.
And it is so hard to know what people want sometimes. Some people do want help. Some people do want to be distracted. We don't really know what they need or want until we pause and listen.
That's definitely the message we're supposed to walk away with. Stop and listen. Be with our beloveds.
And that includes ourselves. Remembering that we can be kind and patient to our inner beloved. To stop and listen to our own feelings. To allow ourselves to go through all the stages and all the feelings, all the thoughts, so we can get to a space in ourselves for healing, for welcoming something new.
It's definitely that too, and that's a big one. But there's something else, something we're missing. You know, now that all the animals are gone, I see there's something deeper here for us to look at.
Well, what else is here?
Well, there are all these blocks.
Oh, yeah. These things we create or build up that get broken.
And we're not really good at dealing with our stuff breaking.
No. In other words, humans aren't really very good at change, are we?
Understatement.
Yeah.
And our resistance to change, which seems to be a natural human instinct thing, it kind of encourages us to assume that these blocks, this thing that Taylor built, was the best thing, something worthy of being permanent. But that's not really how toy blocks work.
Well, maybe we need to stop and turn over our blocks. Look at what literally blocks us.
But there are so many blocks.
Word.
Things that keep us from needed change. It's overwhelming.
They kind of remind me of moving, and that's always a pile of change. But let's not get mired in the negative again.
Well, but maybe we need to turn them over completely.
You mean look at the other side of the thing that blocks us?
Yes, look at what hasn't been said or allowed or represented.
Good.
And
good.
what hasn't yet been.
And what might become.
Here's fear.
Oh. And what's on the other side? Oh, trust. Oh, that makes sense.
And I think I saw, oh my, where did it go? Shame.
That's a big one. Turn it over and I bet you find liberation.
Yeah, collective liberation, for sure.
And, oh, yeah. Here's binary thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, let's please turn that over and find
Spectrum thinking. Oh, yeah. Oh, and this big one down here, there it is. I can see it from here. Nostalgia. We knew that would be here. The elephant in the room.
Oh, yes, the imagined perfect moment. That moment that we look back to and say, it was so good then.
Yeah. Well, there's discomfort when it's different. It's messy. It's like when you're in an intersection and they're changing it from a stoplight to a roundabout, right? We see why they want to change it because it will help traffic flow and there'll be fewer fatalities, but oh my God, the mess of the construction. Oh, and how we have to deal with whole new ways of understanding how we get around, and I have to learn how to merge properly.
And some people, like our kangaroo, just want to forget we started construction in the first place.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we don't have the luxury of turning back time. We certainly can't do it for our siblings of color or our trans siblings, those who bear and raise children, or our disabled siblings, or even our Earth.
But thankfully, our world is evolving, and our Unitarian Universalist faith is keeping up.
We are an amazing non-creedal faith that believes in science and evolution and learning from our past and creating a better world together. We get the opportunity to grow together and to bend the moral arc of the universe together.
The world has changed so much in our lifetimes. No matter how old you are in this room or on Zoom, change happens quickly. I know I'm not the same person now that I was when I first came to SUUSI in 2010. Why shouldn't our community grow too?
Changes. Yeah, that can be hard. But I think turning our world around really means leaning into turning over the blocks like these and seeing them from the other side for the first time. Seeing how those blocks are keeping our faith from becoming the faith and the place we say we want to be.
Nostalgia can be turned into, let's see what we got here. Rebuilding.
Ooh.
I think we are rebuilding not just our world, but our faith in our SUUSI community. Repairing relationships, starting new ones, building on our past, but also learning from our mistakes.
Maybe we need gusts of wind, the winds of change, to stop and turn over our precious blocks. Reminders that even our long-held institutions need shaking up in order to remind ourselves what is really worthy of saving, what really responds to and meets the needs of the now versus the before.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why there's so much anger and backlash and harm going on right now. Because prophetic voices like young people speaking out about climate change and gun violence, movements like Black Lives Matter, communities of women and non-binary folks speaking up about body autonomy, even those voices in our faith seeking new ways of being in the world, they're all knocking down long cherished blocks, these monuments to the past that no longer or maybe never really did speak to the needs of the full community.
Maybe we need to pause and see how we might turn ourselves, our communities around. What new communities of care can emerge? What might we build from what we overturn? What happens when we pause and listen?
Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go.
Will you ease the pain? Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease the pain? Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease the pain? Holy baby, and holy name. Will you ease the pain? Loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Holy breath and holy name. Will you ease the pain?
And the rabbit listened. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again.
I can't wait, Taylor said. It's going to be amazing. Maybe we all find our inner rabbit listener to one another and to ourselves. And may we be brave and hopeful enough to see the blocks in front of us, the blocks even of our own creation, and join with others in turning them over so that we may see what is on the other side, what is possible, what we may become when we learn to turn ourselves around. It and we are going to be amazing. Please join us in singing this amazing song by Martha Sandeffer, who was a member of the Work of the Weavers, which was a Weavers tribute band in the Hudson Valley. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. You may rise as you feel so moved. We are building a new way, feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Free of greed and jealousy. We are working to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed
In our morning services, we have been sharing together embody meditations to embody our call to turn ourselves and our world around. So we invite y'all now to stand, embody your spirit, or you can stay seated if that is more comfortable for you. But we are going to be doing a meditation where we will turn. We'll do a quarter at a time, but you can turn in whatever direction speaks to your internal compass. That's up to you. You're a you. And you just want to keep turning in the same direction so that you end up doing a full circle.
As we turn one quarter, we turn our attention to ourselves and the ways we may feel unheard or unlistened to. Take the time now to pat and rub your shoulders and arms, to love on these parts of yourself. And remind ourselves to take the time to listen to our own voices. We can learn to be our own first responders to our experiences.
As we turn one quarter again, we turn our attention to the gift of being listened to, being heard, in whatever crisis we are in, whatever stage of rage or grief, confusion or joy. We are grateful for the moments when our beloveds take the time to just listen and hear whatever it is that we need to express.
As we turn another quarter, we turn our attention towards the importance of learning to listen, paying attention to those we love and know, and to those we don't yet know or love. Listening should be the easiest task to do, and yet it is so often the hardest. We acknowledge that we often fall short, filling the space with our advice, our rage, our laughter, our scapegoating, all the things that are easier to do than just sit with somebody where they are right now.
As we turn back towards the front, towards these blocks, we turn our attention to the places we are blocked, as individuals, as a SUUSI community, as a faith. The concerns in our lives where we may be having trouble accepting change, learning to see something from a different perspective. We commit to reaching out and turning over these blocks, within and without, one by one.
As we extinguish our chalice tonight, we celebrate the light of change, the grace of being in a community that recognizes that to turn our world around, we must first be able to turn ourselves around. May we lean in and love on each other through the turning. May it be so. Go in peace. Blessed be.